To order. Even though no one's here, we'll start with the pledge to the flag. It's outside. Thank you, John. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. So even though no one's here, I still have to do the thing. I remind everyone the meeting is being telecast and recorded on channel 14, and remind any member of the public who wishes to make an audio or video recording of the open session of the meeting to notify me as chair, and I will inform the public of the recording as required by the open meeting law. Finally got it in one breath. No public comment, no student advisory, right? So the first thing is reorganization of the school committee. I pass you the wonderful gavel. Thank you.
So I will accept nominations for the position of chair.
I would like to nominate someone. I'd like to nominate Terry to be our chair for the next year. I think Lori deserves someone with Terry's experience to help her along the way, and she has more experience with first-year superintendents than any of us.
I will second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations on the floor? Anyone want to make any nominations? No? Okay.
Can I say something, though?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that I think everybody should be chairman at one time or another, and I've been on the committee for 10 years, and I felt guilty because I never threw my hat in to run. I didn't because I thought it wouldn't be fair if you couldn't make commitments, but now that I'm retired and finally settled in, I have the time. And the other thing is, this sounds so trite, but there's no I in team. And I think even though one person speaks for the committee, everybody is equally important. And I'm hoping this year to find a way that more people, like if the bylaws permit it, can be present at setting the agenda meetings with the superintendent and stuff, so that more information gets out than just one person. I don't know if the bylaws say that, but everybody, I'm gonna hope, will. That's a plan I have anyway. So there you go.
Okay. So we'll take a vote.
It's a roll call.
Roll call.
So yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank
I
you.
get to move. Yay, Terry! I'm excited. Oh, I don't have to. You're actually just to the. You want to just stay there and
No,
we'll just
but
do that?
do I do the rest?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Okay.
You're on now.
You're on.
Okay.
I'll just
All right.
stay here.
So I will accept nomination.
Oh, no, that's me.
Oh.
Those are my notes.
Oh.
You keep the
But
gavel.
you
I
take the
keep the
gavel
gavel.
because you're the
Keeps the
Okay,
chair.
but may I have a piece of paper?
Certainly,
Um,
because now you'll finish the reorganization.
Okay. All right, I would like to have nominations for vice chairman.
I would like to make a nomination for vice chairman, vice chairperson.
Okay,
I'd like to nominate Kelly Welch.
okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Does anybody else want to nominate somebody?
I'd like to nominate Leah Palmer.
Okay, I'll second that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I would have you second too. You don't have to second them.
Yeah, I think that's just motions. I'll have to learn those things, what you have to do. Are there any other people who would be interested? Okay, so I guess we'll do a roll call vote. If you were in favor of Kelly, would you say yes, please? We'll start.
Can I ask a question first? Is that okay? Or
Yeah, we can
sure.
just a
before
clarifying
the discussion.
question? So, vice, is the role of vice to eventually move up, or is it to? I'm just confused if that's kind of the purpose of the vice, to kind of step up at one point and be chair, and where Leah has been vice, I think a couple times now, and not wanted to move up. I'm just curious if that's something to be concerned about, or is that something that happens often? Is it?
I think it has to do with what I said initially, was that it's a commitment. It's not an automatic thing. I mean, it's a big time commitment, and if like, to use Leah's example, who's across the sound, you know, it's hard to, sometimes it makes it hard. So you can look, if I had known, you know, we could look back in the other elections and see, you know, but you, like, who was before Kelly? Alan, was he vice chairman?
I don't think
No.
so.
No, and then before that was Sue, and she was not vice chairman.
Okay.
No,
No.
I don't think, John and I were talking about this the other day. I don't think it follows that
The normal
traditional
kind of-
sequencing, because there's, not only is it a large time commitment, you never know what life is going to throw you, but also because of elections, people get voted out. And you might be vice chair and then not be here anymore. Oh, I can't call on people. Terry?
Oh, yeah,
It's
That's so
hard.
funny, and I'm looking at you.
I know, I'm like, I can't do that now.
Okay.
You should know to look to the
It'll
right.
take one time. So I think on many boards, it's not that traditional moving up, and sometimes you have to look to the bylaws that actually will state what the role of each of the positions on executive committee are. But I think it tends to find the ways that you can balance out the roles so that you can see the strengths that are there and what kind of support it needs. So a lot of the ones that I've been involved in, it's a supportive role. And so they're looking for the qualities that are going to help the chair in that, not exactly like you started this and you just kind of move up. Yeah.
Well, actually, in Robert's rules, and the thing is Robert's rules does have it, and it's interesting because I made the motion, but Robert's rules does have it defined that the vice chair would, one of the prime roles is to be willing to move into that role. Now, since we have had Leah do it for a couple of years and it hasn't had a challenge, I thought that she did a nice job in support the past year. As far as we didn't run into that challenge, I think, and I totally agree with what Megan was putting forth, as far as, because by clear definition of Robert's rules, the vice chair should be willing to move up into the slot. And I think it actually would be, you'd probably be, you know, you could actually say that you'd be in the same boat, Kelly, since you're stepping down as chair. You know, you're relinquishing the chairmanship role, and then by definition, it would sort of be implied that you might not want to, at this point, go into that role. So you both kind of would be in the same slot, unless we had some other third person that wasn't in that role. Then that, otherwise, you both would be dealing with that same kind of situation. Are you willing to go into the chairman role?
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So is that, because when I read that, I see it as being willing to step into the chair role in the absence of the current chair. Isn't that what it says?
It says also if it's vacated. So let's say if somebody, God forbid, something happens to the person, or if they
Right.
step down
So
for
in the
whatever reason,
absence, but not
then you-
necessarily running the next year to fill that seat.
No, you'd automatically, you wouldn't even have to be voted on. It would be, so let's say whomever was the vice
Right.
chair, if that person, for whatever reason, leaves the committee,
Right.
then the vice chair would automatically be chair. But by definition, if she has stated that she's not, the challenge that I see, and so long as it's consistent, the challenge that in the past I've seen with the vice chair doing it in that manner is if something happened, then you're not able to move into it, and B, then it causes confusion every time there's an election. Then you have sort of a Game of Thrones maneuvering and whatnot for somebody to go to the chairmanship spot, instead of it just being sort of like when the past chair was gone. Then it would have, I think a lot of us thought that Leah would have moved into that role, and it would have been a more natural dynamic, you know. So with that said, I mean, I'm fine with her being a nominee, and I'm fine with you being a nominee. But as far as the technical answer, as far as what our Robert's rules are, that is the definition. That's like the main duty of a vice chair, basically.
Well, the history that we just recounted doesn't attest to that procedure. I mean, I think in amongst, our committee is not just governed by Robert's rules. There's other hometown, the people who are on the policy can attest to that, right?
And I think it, like you said originally, it depends on timing. And it depends on life, because life happens and, you know, timing changes and, I always say life happens, but I firmly believe that you just don't know what your timing is gonna be, but.
Yes.
I would also say that I think moving forward, if we want to think about this, as we've been planning all sorts of things and setting goals, and I think that when we, I think organizations do best when they align the people who are in the leadership roles with the goals for that year. And so you're always looking for the right people to lead through whatever it is. And of course, you never know what might come up, but we talked a lot about that at our retreat last year, and I'd hope we do that, something similar again, and really look at goal setting. And I think that that can help us when we're determining who's going to be in these positions as well. So.
I have a question. The vice chair, is the vice chair responsible for the coordination of the superintendent's evaluation, or can that be anybody?
It can be.
It could be anybody.
Okay, so that's not specifically related to the vice chair. Okay, I need-
It's actually supposed to be the chair or chair's designee, is what it says in our policy.
And it can always be me,
Oh, you've done a very
if you
good
would
job.
like.
I think
You were just
we all
pushing
have
paper.
questions because,
I was not.
so I would see if we could engage Dorothy to come again. Dorothy has a real good, were you there when Dorothy gave us information?
I think it was just me
I'm
and
sorry,
Leah.
she's from the MASC group, and she knows the runnings of school committees throughout the state, so. And she gives very good presentations. I
Maybe she
thought.
could
So-
come to the retreat.
Yeah, maybe that would, yeah.
And she helped us with the goal setting, or the protocols.
And the
Yeah.
goals. And,
So that's where that came from, was when she came and supported us in that.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's so knowledgeable.
Okay, does anybody else want to make a comment before we do the voting?
Did you accept the, I just want to make sure that she knows that she got nominated because she came in late. Just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
So where are we?
We're about to vote vice chair.
Okay,
I think.
Correct, we are.
okay. I'll
Okay.
accept the
Okay.
nomination.
All right, so if you would vote for Kelly, would you say yes, please? Start, you want to start at this end this time? Is that more
Sure.
clear? Okay?
Yes.
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 No.
No.
No,
Okay, well,
not that it
it's
matters.
6-3, correct? So Kelly's do you go through and vote for Leah anyway?
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
Is it 5 to
5 to 4.
5 to 4, did it?
3, 4, 5, 6. Leah voted for me.
Oh, Leah vote, oh, okay.
I didn't hear that. Thank you for the nomination, I appreciate it.
You did a nice
Okay.
job the past 2 years.
Thank you. 2 years.
Yeah, actually
Yes.
3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
3 years,
I-
yeah.
3 years?
I don't know.
And you're like, it's a blur, I don't know.
I'm really
Okay.
happy to pass the torch.
The third position that we need to vote on is for the office of secretary. So I would like to nominate Melissa. Does anybody else want to nominate somebody?
I'll second that. I know, but it says you can or you can't. I never get to second anything because I was chair, so I had to keep quiet. I'm gonna take advantage.
There's no other nominations? Okay, so if you would like to vote for Melissa, will you say yes?
Yes?
Yes.
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 Okay, so unanimous.
Terry's the chair.
Have to give me your.
She's got the gavel and a pen. She's in charge.
Congratulations, Terry. And
Thank you.
Melissa.
And to
Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, next on the agenda is the first read of the school committee schedule for the upcoming, I don't know if you call it fiscal year or school year, what do you call it?
Yep, academic year.
Academic year?
So it's green and it's in your packet, and you may wonder why it looks different from the usual format that you've seen in the past, and that's because it has to be accessible when it goes up on the website. So this format is accessible. That's why it just looks different, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Does anybody want to say anything about it? Food for thought while people read it over the next 2 weeks? Nobody has anything they want to say? Okay. Next on the agenda is to conduct routine business, so that would be approval of the minutes. Sharon asked me, handed these to me because I was here first, because I wanted to make sure I got a parking space, because sometimes it gets crowded up there. Anyway, in the paragraphs about the carousel, there was a change made to say an annual donation instead of an annual fee. Okay, so,
Can you, can I just make one comment? Can you just make sure you're looking at the white comment, the white copy and not this copy?
Not, okay, not.
I
this.
had put the white copies because they were amended, just as Terry said, just that one piece was amended. I just want to make sure you have the right one.
And the amendment is the donation versus, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's the only amendment?
that's it.
Okay, I'm just gonna kick it out of my packet so that I'm not. Okay.
And so I would also just, if it's okay, if I could make a comment. Actually, I think the carousel, like, because you're going over minutes.
okay.
I'll wait.
So, is there a motion to accept these
Well,
minutes?
Just a question, Terry, so where is the spot, is that the second paragraph about the donation?
Yeah, it's second paragraph, last line. Annual fee to a donation.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, no discussion? So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next on the agenda is a report from the superintendent.
Okay, so just quickly, in your packets, you have a copy of the VIPS Director's Report, May 2018. And I would ask that you just take a couple of minutes and read this. I think Tracy does a really nice job summarizing the work of VIPS, and there's a lot of information in that. They do some really, really incredible work. In addition, you have a copy of the information about the Science and Engineering Fair from Corey Dubuque. And you can take a look at our students and what they've won and the incredible job that happens during the science fair. So kudos to Corey and our kids. You also have a copy, it's kind of a salmon color, of a letter that went out to parents, because if you remember, we had a pipe burst at North, and so they owe an additional day, and it will be a half day on June 25th. So it's kind of a bummer, but we play by the rules, so we have to offer an additional day.
That's the second time they've had to go a day. Remember, a custodian passed away there,
Yes.
remember?
Oh, yes.
In the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say political statements like this, the DESE refused. They can grant a waiver, but
waiver.
they refused to grant a waiver for that.
I didn't even apply for a waiver this time, because
Yeah.
if they wouldn't do it for a custodian who died on the night shift, I thought it's a waste of
Are
time.
you serious?
I'm dead
They would
serious.
not.
They wouldn't
did
give
not
a
grant
waiver for that. Those kids had to go an extra day. That's the DESE.
In addition, you have a copy of the signed, the license. I did meet with Troy Clarkson the very next morning at 7 o'clock, I did as the school committee had wished, and they have the dates. We should be good to go. You can also take a look, the second or the third page of that is the certificate of insurance, and you can't tell, but I did highlight the dates, just so that you knew that this one picks up
Yeah.
6/9 and goes
So they renewed
through
it.
19th. It's renewed,
That's
you're good to go.
Good, so
Um,
they're not playing beat the clock
No,
next year.
nope,
And they'll-
it's here.
Then they can come and it's a little more, I don't wanna say relaxed, but they're not playing beat the clock.
Right,
That's good.
so they,
Good-
we
good
should be
forward
fine
thinking
on
on
that. It should be
just-
good.
Just a question on this, so I know we already decided on it, but for maybe for future reference, so there's no component on here of how much money they make versus how much we get from, so they made $50,000 last year, we made $2,000. So in the future, if they double that, it's at their discretion what they choose to
It
share.
says a donation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Carrie, can I?
Yes, you may.
comment on that? I think that what's nice about this is that it's a yearly contract, so we can look at how this goes, because that was kind of, 10 cents on each ride was,
Yeah, it would've-
bookkeeping kind of.
It would have been 5,000 really, if they made 50, it would have really been 5,000, but we got 2,000, so.
Yeah. So in looking at what the donation ends up to be next year and then saying, oh, well, maybe we should revise the contract for the future.
And it's gonna depend if you want it to be a donation or a fee. If it's a donation, I'm not sure how much you can say the donation would be.
Right.
If it's a fee, that's different.
Understood.
Yes, Cal?
I think also, the year to year for me is that whether or not they keep to the deadlines in the contract, because they didn't last year. And the year before, I think, if I remember right. So for me, it's not just about the donation, although it's wonderful, but I worry a lot about it going up before we have a contract and staying up after the contract ends, and then we have no protection if something happens. Yeah, I just want to say my piece on that because it worries me.
Yes?
Just one other comment about this. In thinking about planning for next year, it'd be great if this was kind of an agenda piece for April. So we had a month ahead, and so we know that Nancy Ashworth also is part of the discussion, and that it's gone through all the right pieces, and we don't have another situation like we did, 2 weeks ago?
Well, I think the
Yeah,
issue
it's-
there, however, is that Nancy Ashworth was aware. It's just that when they came forward, they changed the dates,
changed
and
the
the
dates.
committee agreed to the change of the dates.
It's on for
Yes.
the
Yeah.
second
So-
March meeting every year,
Oh, okay.
but it just didn't happen,
Didn't happen, okay. Okay.
for what it's worth.
Well, I think it was a good lesson learner,
Yeah.
that
All
discussion. In public, I was a bit uncomfortable not airing dirty laundry, that's too strong, but but I think it was a good lesson for us all.
Agreed.
That's my opinion. Am I allowed to give my opinion?
Yes.
Yes.
I just said it, yeah, okay. All right, and so now,
So well, I just want to make one more comment, and that was that Dr. Lori Dorr has been in the district for the past 2 days, and I designed schedules for her yesterday and today for her to meet people, so it's been very productive. There's a lot to do, but I think she got to meet lots of people that she'll be talking to a lot next year. So I think it was time well spent.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a
Yeah.
huge help, really, really
Thank you, Nancy.
great.
I'm sure she appreciated that too.
Yeah.
It's a little overwhelming, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. That's all I have.
okay. So are there any committee members' reports?
Just in the collaborative, we're still looking for an assistant director of special ed, and that's still in process, and other than that, no other news.
Who left, John?
It's a restructuring.
Oh, it's
Yep,
restructured.
restructuring, yep.
Do you know how they post that position? Do
Uh,
they do it through School Spring? Or?
they do, yeah,
They do,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
And then also through Cape Cod Collaborative website, is there?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Are there, yes? See, this is how I felt.
You think to
You
look
would
right.
think that I would be the most empathetic person in the world. I used to sit over with the,
To the right.
to the right, yeah, so. I wasn't always gracious either. Was I? Oh, I wasn't.
Hopefully, everybody's gonna be able to come up to the VIPS dinner after this, the recognition dinner, to hear about the amazing things that people in all of the schools are doing. And then also I wanted to alert everyone that the VIPS fundraiser, the Feast of Falmouth, is June 8th at Mahoney's from 5 to 7, and tickets are now already available, the VIPS office, the chamber, and online. So hope that people will see you guys there, and that you can
Yes.
encourage other people to attend.
That's an outstanding evening.
Mhm.
They do a
And
great job
you
with
can
that.
get tickets there too, right?
And at the door, absolutely, yeah.
There was another student, the art students are doing a, I don't know the specifics, I read it and the Lighthouse, does anybody know the
It's-
specific?
the
It starts
reception is right
today.
now.
It's right
It's
now.
right now,
That's
yeah,
where all the directors-
unfortunately, that's,
Oh, they
you
are?
know, for us, yeah. But it's a week-long presentation, so encourage people to go and see that. Are there any agenda items people would like to request, Bob?
Well, Terry, since we're going upstairs and we're at a group event and we're presenting ourselves as a school committee, for a future agenda item, I'd like us to consider getting little school committee name tags. So when we're at an event like that, people know that we're the school committee. Just a thought.
Okay.
Also, I didn't know if it's possible for us to be getting updates on the fields. I know that it passed, and I would just think it would be helpful if we knew what the next step was, because you know how people are very anxious. So it just would be nice to know what's in the works, what's coming up next.
I think Patrick is working on a timeline as we speak.
Great.
We should probably say thank you for all your hard work for that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Nice job.
Very, very nice.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, really lucky. Okay. Any follow-up information anybody would like? Okay. And does anybody have a subcommittee report to make? Okay. Well, I guess that's all the business.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn the school committee meeting now.
I'll second.
Everybody has to vote.
Oh, yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.